Okay. So, this is the homework I have given you to fill up the rest. Yeah. This was homework for page 228. Right? On page 228, Vasistha just gave us a little bit, only on the Sattva. Yeah, he didn't help us on Rajas and Tamas. Yeah, so where do these worlds come from? These are seemingly different from what we have studied in Bhagavad Gita. What have we studied? Lokas and talas. So we have studied how many planes of existence? 14 planes of existence. Yes. But now he says there are how many? 9. These are only 9. Yeah. So where is the difference? The difference is in Vedas and Upanishads. Yeah. So in Rig Veda, first it begins with two-world model. Just the good side and the bad side. Yeah. In the beginning of the Rig Vedas. Then slowly it moved on to a three-world model. Yeah. And these three worlds were based on Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. And then when you go deeper and deeper into Rig Veda, then these Rajas, Tamas and Sattva then were divided or subdivided again into Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. So finally they came up with the 9-world model. Yes. So this is that 9-world model from Rig Veda which Vasistha is referring to. Yeah. So now let's look at what it is. He already told us there are 3 levels. One is the heavenly plane, one is the mid-world, and one is earth and lower worlds. So according to this particular world analogy or this world model, earth and the lower worlds fall together. Yes, and what did we learn? There was your Bhuloka in this analogy. So we were in the lokas, we were not in the talas. Remember? Yes, we just did 7 lokas and 7 talas. Talas were the lower worlds, lokas were the upper worlds. In the upper worlds, though we are the lowest in the upper world, but we were in the upper worlds. Yes, this is in the Upanishads. Yeah? Taittiriya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka, if you are interested in the names. These Upanishads have pronounced the 14 planes of existence. Yes. But Rig Veda has stuck to 9 planes of existence. Got it? Yeah? So you should not get confused. You should know both the models. Basically they are not very different. Yeah? One is a derivative of the other. They are not very different. So we know the 7 lokas and 7 talas already, the 14 planes of existence very well. Yeah? Let's look at the 9 model. Yeah? This Vasistha says Swar Loka has 3 levels. Yeah? Uttama, Madhyama and Avama. Uttam word is similar to the Hindi word Uttam. Yeah? The higher world, the mid world and the lower world. Yeah? That's how they have described Sattva, Rajas and Tama. Sattva is the Uttam world, the Rajasic world is the Madhyama world and the Tamasic world is the Avama or the lower world. Got it? Yeah. Now all these are called Swarloka. Yeah. In the 9 world model, they are Swarloka Avama, Swarloka Madhyama, Swarloka Uttama. Got it? Yeah? That is why all our celestials, all our angels, even the good kind of asuras were in this level. Yeah? Even the sages are in this level. Yeah? So all our upper four lokas, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka and Satloka, those upper four lokas will come in this heavenly plane, the plane of the Sattva. Got it? Yeah? It's not very different. Just Veda has a different approach and Upanishad has a different approach. That's it. Yeah? Then there is the mid-world, which is of Rajas. Yeah? And the mid-world they call Bhuvarloka. Again, in Bhuvarloka, there is the upper, middle and the lower world. Yeah? So Bhuvarloka Uttama is the upper world. Bhuvarloka Madhyama is the mid-level and Bhuvarloka Avama, yeah, is the lower level. And how will you understand lower? Rajas dash tamas or Rajasic tamas. This is Rajasic Rajas. Yeah? And this is Rajasic Sattva. Yeah? That's the way to say it if you want to say it in Sanskrit. Yeah?
So Bhuvarloka means like a big true loka, right?
Yeah, so yeah. For us, now according to the 14 world analogy or the 14 world model, that is Pitraloka. But here it is all the mid-worlds. Yeah? So mid-worlds is all after Swargaloka. Swargaloka, what was below that? Bhuvarloka, all come into this Rajasic. Yeah? The middle world. Now the lowest world is Bhuloka. This they call earth and all the patalas or talas that we studied in our 14 world model. Here they come under this third one. Yeah. So tamasic is how you will read this. That is Bhuloka Avama, lowest. Then tamasic Rajasic. Yeah, or tamasic Rajas is Bhuloka Madhyama. And tamasic Sattva is Bhuloka Uttama. So we are lucky that the earth or this physical realm of existence falls in Bhuloka Uttama. Yeah, Bhuloka Madhyama and Avama are those lower talas that you studied about. Yeah, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, yeah, all the way to Patala. Got it?
So, if it was when you said these 9 correspond to 14 in Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad, the first 3 correspond to top 4, middle 3 correspond to the next 2, and the remaining 8 correspond to the lower, like last one.
Yes. Now, they have one more level of division. Each of this is divided into Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Each of it. Yes. And so one thing that we had not covered here also, because it would get too heavy for Bhagavad Gita session, is that each of these also have 14 planes of existence. Got it? For example, if you want to look at Maharloka. Maharloka has its own Satloka, its own Tapoloka, its own Janaloka, its own Maharloka. So it's called Maharloka Satloka, Maharloka Janaloka, Maharloka Tapoloka. So each of it has 14 levels within it. Complicated, no? So those also correspond with the divisions on those 9. The Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. Yes, and all their connection is exactly the same as we did it. Yeah, all the lokas and talas have sense of sound, taste, touch, smell, sight, mind and buddhi, that is intellect and ego, the same connections are here. Yes. So Vedas just divides it in a different way and Upanishad divides it in a different way. That's it. Clear? Okay. Nobody did the homework, huh? No use giving you guys homework. So, let's read ahead. Any questions on this? Or can we go ahead? All good. Yeah. That is why I was not taking it up last week, and that's why I did it after Bhagavad Gita. So easy, went quickly. So we'll start reading from page 229. Who's going to begin? Yeah.
Vasistha continued. Thus, all this world appearance with all the mobile and immobile beings in it is not whatsoever. Nothing has really become physical or material. If conceptualization, which gives rise to notions of being and non-being, is eliminated, then it is realized that all these jiva, the individual souls, etc., are empty expressions. All the relationships that arise in one's heart on account of ignorance are seen to be non-existent. Even when the rope is mistaken for a snake, no one can be bitten by that snake. It is the absence of self-knowledge that is known as ignorance or delusion. When the self is known, one reaches the shores of limitless intelligence. When consciousness objectifies itself and regards itself as its own object of observation, there is avidya and ignorance. When this subject-object notion is transcended, all the weights that envelop the reality are removed. The individual is nothing more than the personalized mind. Individuality ceases when the mind ceases. It remains as long as the notion of a personality remains. So long as there is a part, there is also the notion of a space enclosed within or confined to that part. When it is broken, the infinite space alone is, even when the part space was imagined therefore.
Okay. So this is a continuation of the previous answer. Yeah. It is again nothing but the description of the same thing, the pool of consciousness. In the beginning, we were just a part of that pool, and in that pool, individualization occurred only because of a vibration in that prana. The moment there was individualized mind, I was born, and you came out of that pool of consciousness. When the I was born, the I wanted a material existence, and then the physical body was born. Yeah? Without the physical body, the subtle body still exists. Yes? But the subtle body exists. Why? Because of the I or vasanas. The moment these vasanas are dropped, or the I is dropped, there is nothing. There is nothing remaining. That is just an empty expression. Yeah? Let's read it. All this world appearance with all the mobile and immovable beings in it is not whatsoever. Nothing has really become physical or material. Again, it is a dream within a dream. Yes? When you wake up from the dream, you will realize that you are still very much near the pool of consciousness. Only because of that I, the individualization, began in your own head, and because of that only you took on a physical form, and you're going from one lifetime to the other, to the other, to the other, just like Leela's story. When this realization hits home, these dreams break away, and you realize that nothing really exists. So what is it all really? It is only conceptualization. So nothing has really become physical or material. If conceptualization, which gives rise to notions of being and non-being, is eliminated, then it is realized that all these jiva, that is the individual souls, are nothing but empty expressions. All the relationships that arise in one's heart on account of ignorance are seen to be non-existent. Even when the rope is mistaken for a snake, no one can be bitten by that snake. Yeah? Nothing but, this is all a dream. What can happen to you in the dream? Yeah? Just wake up, he is saying. In different ways, he's just bringing forth the truth that everything is just a conceptualization. It is absence of self-knowledge that is known as ignorance or delusion. When the self is known, one reaches the shores of limitless intelligence. When consciousness objectifies itself and regards itself as its own object of observation, there is avidya or ignorance. This is beautiful. In that pool of consciousness, one little drop comes up and says, I. So, for that drop, I have only become the object of observation. Yes? I am the drop, and for me, I am only the object of observation. For example, when you are dreaming, what do you really dream about? It's all about I and everything related to I. Have you noticed? All your dreams are about I and the relationships of I. Doesn't matter whether it's people, situations or things. They are all related to this I. There will never be a dream which will not be related to the I. Yes? So I have made myself an object of observation in the night and when I am dreaming. That's exactly what has happened at the beginning of creation. Yeah? Nothing has really begun in any ways. We are all dreaming. Yes? We are all in each other's dreams. Yeah? It's so amazing really. Yeah? And this amazing thing that you find is called avidya. It's because of ignorance that we are in this dream within a dream within a dream. Once we wake up from this ignorance, what will happen? He said, limitless intelligence. Why limitless? As a drop, when I said I limited my individuality, right? I forgot that I am this huge pool of consciousness, which is one. Yeah? And little waves came up in that pool of consciousness, started saying I. So I have limited myself to that little individuality that I formed about myself. Yes? It's just a matter of dropping that individuality. Yes? The moment you drop the individuality, it is vidya. Yeah? Till the time you are holding on to the I, it is avidya. As simple as that. When the subject-object notion is transcended, all the veils that envelop the reality are removed. Yeah? Your subject is also I, object is also I. Observe this. Yeah? This is the weirdest kind of subject-object relationship. The only one you find on this in this creation. Yeah? Once this is transcended, all the veils that envelop the reality are removed. The individual is nothing more than the personalized mind. Individuality ceases when that mind ceases. It remains as long as the notion of a personality remains. So long as there is a pot, there is also the notion of a space enclosed within or confined to that pot. When it is broken, the infinite space alone is, even where the pot space was imagined before. So just like this glass. There is space inside the glass, there is space outside the glass. But there is this transparent wall all around this space. That is why this space is saying, I am separate. I am an individual. Now, when this says, I am an individual, it has become the mind. Yeah? This space has become the mind. Yeah? It's not that something else, an external entity is called mind. No. The space which gets deluded, thinking it is individual and separate, is equal to mind. If I break this glass, this individual space will unite with the space around and become no mind. Got it? There is no separate entity or a separate tool called the mind really. We just use that so, you can understand what is the function. But really, there is nothing called the mind that exists separately. The same consciousness has got deluded that it is limited. And that is why it is called the mind, or a personalized mind, or an individual mind. Yeah. The moment this is broken, the infinite space alone is, even where the pot space was imagined before. Here. Now Rama asks a very beautiful question. Let's move ahead.
Rama asks, Lord, please tell me how this cosmic intelligence becomes things like insentient rocks. Vasistha replied, in these substances, like rocks, consciousness remains immobile, having abandoned the thinking faculty, but not having been able to reach the state of no mind. It is like the state of deep sleep, far away from the state of liberation. Rama asked again, but if they exist as state of deep sleep without any concept or percept, I think they are also close to liberation. Vasistha replied, moksha, liberation, or the realization of the infinite is not existence as an immobile creature. Liberation is attained when one arrives at the state of supreme peace after intelligent inquiry into the nature of the self, and after this has brought about an inner awakening. Kaivalya, or total freedom, is the attainment of pure being after all mental conditioning is transcended consciously and after a thorough investigation. The wise ones say that one is established in pure being or Brahman only after one has investigated the nature of the truth as expounded in the scriptures, in the company of and with the help of enlightened sages.
Beautiful question, na? Many people ask this. So, I mean, a stone, a whiteboard, it's sitting there peacefully, no tension. That is so good. Yeah? No. What we have failed to understand is finally it is nothing but earth, water, fire, ether, air. Earth element is 99.99% here. Yeah? There is 0.01% fire, 0.01% water, 0.01% air. These are all approximate numbers I am giving you. Yeah? But because it is maximum earth, that is why it is sitting in one place and not moving around. Does that mean that there is zero Purusha in this? Is there Purusha or not? You tell me. There is. Yeah? You did, na? What is Adi Daivam or Daivik level? All metals, everything that you see, non-living objects also, everything has a Purusha element or that energy element that gives that particular metal or that non-living object its nature. Wood has a different nature than plastic. Yeah? Plastic has a different nature than carpet. Yeah? Carpet has a different nature than laminate. Yeah? Everything is different. Yes? That is the Daivik level. Yeah? Devas are not just whatever you have imagined in mythology. Those are not Devas also. They are not flying around on horses in the air. They are really energy impulses. Yes? So that energy impulse that told this whiteboard to just be where it is, stay put. Yeah? That Purusha element is here as well. Yeah? So that is the answer to Rama's question really. Yeah? Though it may look insentient, immobile, it is still in the form of a combination of earth, water, fire, ether, air. It is still Prakriti. Yes? And the meaning of liberation or moksha itself is to get out of this cycle of earth, water, fire, ether, air. Being born as that element, coming out of that pool of consciousness and getting into this Prakriti itself is bondage. Yeah? See, when you gain that skill or that ability to drop this attachment to earth, water, fire, ether, air and move back to that pool of consciousness, you have moved towards liberation. Got it? Lord, please tell me how this cosmic intelligence becomes things like insentient rocks. Vasistha replied, in these substances like rocks, consciousness remains immobile. Here consciousness is Purusha. Yeah? Having abandoned the thinking faculty, but not having been able to reach the state of no mind. Yeah? How is that still mind? Every chemical still produces the reaction to fire element, to water element. Yeah? If I put a lot of water, yeah, on earth element, it will, wash away. Yes? If I throw a lot of water on this wall, it will wash away. So earth, water, fire, ether, air are reacting with each other. Yes? So that is what is called as mind in the state of non-living. Yeah? If you want to call it mind. It's not our kind of intellect or mind, but it is at that level, you can say. They are stuck between our level of mind where we have a thinking faculty, yeah, power of discrimination and all. It is neither here nor is it totally the no mind of peace and bliss. It is stuck in the middle. It's neither here nor there. Got it? It is like the state of deep sleep. far away from the state of liberation. So Rama says, if they exist as in a state of deep sleep without concepts, percepts, I think they are close to liberation. Then Vasistha says, oh, you have to understand what is moksha or liberation. It is the realization of the infinite. Realization of the infinite is not existence as an immobile creature. Liberation is attained when one arrives at the state of supreme peace after intelligent inquiry into the nature of the self. And after this has brought about an inner awakening. Yeah. So this can happen either in this form of Bhuloka, in this human form, or in a higher form. It cannot happen below the human level. Why? Because only at the human level have you taken so many births to move up to the maturity of the mind. Got it? Maybe 80,000 years ago, 80,000 lifetimes ago, you were a rock, you were sulfur, magnesium, phosphorus. Yeah? The state of mind was not as mature or developed as the human mind. It was somewhere at that non-living state. That took so many 84,000 lifetimes for you to come to this maturity, to be able to also inquire into the nature of the self. Yeah? That is why human life should never be wasted. Never. Yeah, you enjoy everything. At the same time, continue on this path of self-inquiry. Who am I? Who is this Purusha inside? Yeah? Who is it that is watching everything happen? Who is that? Who is the witness? This is the path of self-inquiry. Only when you do a thorough investigation and you reach self-realization, my realization, not what somebody else tells me, not even what the Guruji tells me. Yeah, this is very important. If you've never tasted Rasgulla, yeah, you have no idea how it tastes. Can Guruji bless you with the taste of Rasgulla? He cannot, right? You will never be able to know the taste of Rasgulla by him blessing you. Understand this. Lots of people misunderstand. Oh, Guruji will bless me, or some God will come and bless me with enlightenment. No. Nobody can bless you with enlightenment. People can bless you as in move your mind in that direction and send good vibrations to you. Yes? But enlightenment is achieved only by self-effort. When I walk the path, the job of a guru, a teacher, is to show you the path, and that is their blessing. They have paved the path for you, so you don't have to make the effort of paving the path. They pave the path for you, they spread it with flowers, and then they tell you walk in this direction. That is their blessing. Yeah? You might go astray while walking on the path. You see something beautiful person, beautiful thing, beautiful woman. You can go astray. Guru again tells you, "Nahi, keep walking straight." That is the Guru's blessing. He paves the path for you and then he keeps guiding you. Yeah, but then the prerequisite is that you should be ready to listen to the Master, no? Yeah? You block your ears and go running after one little temptation, then you have lost out. Got it? So the self-effort is just in following the Master's word. As simple as that. Yeah? We are not Buddha or Jesus, otherwise we would have paved our own paths. Yeah? We are lucky that we have a Master, a Guru to help us. So now that he has paved the path, keep walking. Yes? And keep doing that self-effort of self-investigation, self-inquiry. And then he's decorated the path with satsang, seva, other little fun things, courses, and lovely scriptural jnana. But all that is just for your mind to feel, okay, good, there's a lot to do. Yeah? Actually, there's just one thing to do. Close your eyes and go within and just be. It's the simplest thing to do. Yeah, but the mind needs, no, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So Guruji said, okay, you do this also, you do this also, you do this also. Keep the mind busy. After it's busy for a while, like a small little kid, which is full of energy, how after doing many activities the kid gets exhausted and can rest. That's exactly the process that Guru's devised for us. Yeah? Then we rest. And when we rest and experience that silence within, the inquiry begins. Oh, what is that silence? What was that peace that I just experienced? Then that investigation, that self-investigation only leads you to Swabhava Jnana. Got it? Yeah? So, Kaivalya it is called. Yeah? Hindi word. Keval ek. Kaivalya. Yeah? Only one. Yeah? Or total freedom. So, what is that only one? That one pool of consciousness from which we all have come out, and that in which we will all go back. Yeah? That is that one pool of consciousness. It is that experience of that oneness is Kaivalya. So, Kaivalya, total freedom, is the attainment of pure being. After all mental conditioning is transcended consciously. Very important. Yeah, that means mental conditioning can be transcended unconsciously. Yeah, what happens to you in sleep? You are unconscious, no? Yes. You are not in ragas or dveshas. Yeah, you could be in deep sleep and just knocked out, completely knocked out, not even in a dreaming state. Yeah, so you are unconscious and you have transcended all this drama. Got it? No use, he says. You have to be conscious. You have to be 100% aware and transcend the drama. And transcend this conditioning, he says. Yeah? Both conditions have to be met. Transcending and being 100% aware or conscious. Yeah? When these two things come together, that is called the Turiya Avastha. We've spoken about this also many times before. The fourth state. The wise ones say that one is established in pure being or Brahman only after one has investigated the nature of the truth as expounded in the scriptures, in the company of and with the help of enlightened sages. So like I said, the Master has already laid everything down for us. We are really lucky. Yeah? All we need to do is follow the Master's word. Yeah? And follow the scriptures. Clear? This page is clear? Yeah?
Yeah, in Bhagavad Gita, all the time, Sri Krishna says, we need to find a Guruji, we need to find a Guruji, all the time. Without Guruji, you cannot get revelation. So really we are so lucky.
Yes, very lucky. You're right. Chalo. Next page, page 230, who's reading? Okay. Okay.
Vasistha continued. As long as psychological limitation and conditioning remain in the heart, even in their subtle seed state, it should be regarded as a deep sleep state. rise to rebirth. Even if a state of tranquility is experienced, even when the mind appears to be self-absorbed, it is an inert state and is the source of unhappiness. Such is the state of the insentient and immobile objects like rocks, etc. They are not free of self-limitation, vasana, but self-limitation is hidden and latent in them, even as flowers are latent in seeds, which sprout, grow, and yield flowers, and parts in feeding. Where the seed of vasana, self-limitation, conditioning, or tendency exists, that state is like deep sleep. It is not perfection. When all vasana are destroyed, and even the potentiality of the vasana does not exist, that state is known as the fourth, beyond making dreamers, and transcendental state. It brings about perfection. Vasana, fire, death, disease, enemy, friendship, glue, hate, and poison, all these are bothersome even if a little residue is left after their move. On the other hand, if all the vasana has been completely removed, then one is established in the state of pure being. Whether such a one is alive or not, he is not again afflicted by sorrow. The Chit Sakti, energy consciousness, lies in immobile creatures, etc., as the latent vasana. It is this Chit Sakti that determines the nature of each object. It is the fundamental characteristics of the very molecules of each object.
Okay. Yeah. So the first paragraph again is a repetition of the same thing. Yeah, but again opened up a little more. Yeah, that even if it is a stone, a rock, it is nothing but some or the other vasana. At least the vasana I is there. It's an individualized consciousness. Yes, that is why it took on a form of prakriti. So vasana exists even if it is in a deep sleep state. So how will you get enlightened? Not in a deep sleep state. It has to be in the aware state, yeah, where you're completely aware. As long as psychological limitation and conditioning remain in the heart, even in their subtle seed state, it should be regarded as the deep sleep state. So there is conditioning even in a rock, so it is deep sleep, yeah, because in the seed state, that conditioning of I is there, individualized consciousness. I am different from the pool of consciousness. This exists in a seed state. It gives rise to rebirth, even if a state of tranquility is experienced, and even when the mind appears to be self-absorbed. It is an inert state and is the source of unhappiness. Such is the state of the insentient and immobile objects like rocks, etc. They are not free of self-limitation or vasana, but self-limitation is hidden and latent in them, even as flowers are latent in seeds, which sprout, grow and yield flowers and pots in clay. Means tomorrow there is a potentiality, the same rock, the same non-living object will move on to a higher birth and a higher birth and a higher birth and keep moving like that, maybe to a plant, maybe to next to butterfly and insect, and move on to fish, frog, yeah, a higher animal, and then come to the human existence. So the seed, the potentiality of moving on is there. Got it? That is vasana. Yes? So there is potentiality to sprout, and that vasana is conditioning or self-limitation. Yeah? When all vasanas are destroyed and even the potentiality of the vasana does not exist, that state is known as the fourth. even the potentiality does not exist. Very, very important. Yeah, a lot of people do years of sadhana, years of meditation. Yeah. They can become Jivan Muktas. Yes. Then is it that a Jivan Mukta will not go down? We all know the story of Jadabharata. He was an enlightened sage, almost there. And what happened? The seed was still there, no? That is why you have to be aware throughout your life. Why? Because the seed exists, that potentiality still exists. Anytime I can get caught in some raga or dvesha. One raga is sufficient to take me down, take me back there. Got it? Yes. That is why the story of Jadabharata is given as a word of caution. Again and again, throughout Gurukul and when you graduate from Gurukul. Yeah. When at the point of death, when you meet that window of liberation, yeah, you have no body. Yeah. It's the easiest time. Why? Because one major vasana is not there of the sharir, of the body. Yes, it is a very big vasana. All my ragas and dveshas are related to this body. Yes, so that is why even if I become a Jivan Mukta while living, yeah, while still being in this world, there is a very big potentiality of downfall. But the window of liberation at the point of death is the best way to exit, yeah, out of this cycle of birth and death. That window of liberation does not leave behind this potentiality of seed also. You can completely get out of it. Yeah. Why? Because of that attainment of Turiya Avastha at that moment. Yes. Because of that fourth state where there is 100% awareness and zero vasana. Yeah? That zero vasana and the 100% awareness is an essential equation to meet Turiya Avastha. Yeah? Clear? Vasana, fire, death, disease, enemy, friendship or glue, hate and poison, all these are bothersome even if a little residue is left after their removal. He's given you an example that you can relate with. Yeah, one little thing in the heart, one bitter word from somebody, everything is good. That person has said everything nice, but one little bitter word you store, you hold on to that bitter word in your heart, don't you? Yeah, just one seed is sufficient for you to be bitter towards that person. Just like that, one little seed is sufficient for you to come back into the cycle of birth and death. But on the other hand, if all vasana have been completely removed, then one is established in the state of pure being. That Turiya Avastha is that state of pure being, of the consciousness. Yeah, where completely everything from Bhutakasha has dropped off. The thoughts of Bhutakasha, which could exist in Chittakasha, have also dropped off. So the Chittakasha has also completely dropped off, and I have established in the Chiddakasha. Yes, that Chiddakasha, pure being. Whether such a one is alive or not, he is not again afflicted by sorrow. The Chitta Shakti, energy consciousness, lies in immobile creatures, etc., as latent vasana. It is this Chitta Shakti that determines the nature of each object. What is he talking about here? The Daivik Guna, the Deva that tells gold that the gold has to be soft and malleable, and tells silver, oh, you have to be a little stronger than gold, and that tells stone that you have to be extremely firm and hard and very strong, and tells diamond that you have to be beautiful and whatever, shiny. Yes? Chitta Shakti is that Daivik Shakti in all of these. We have gone back to the example of rock here. Non-living objects. The Chitta Shakti energy consciousness lies in the immobile creatures, etc. as latent vasana. It is this Chitta Shakti that determines the nature of each object. It is the fundamental characteristic of the very molecules of each object. Got it? If you read the Vedas, according to the Vedas, there is nothing like a non-living object. They say everything is living. Every single thing is living. This computer through which you and I can interact is living. It's not dead. They say everything is living. The entire planet and the entire solar system and the solar systems within the solar systems, the multiverses, everything together is a huge organism. This huge organism has smaller organisms within. Just like this body has so many bacteria, viruses and all kinds of worms inside, all kinds of horrible things moving in and out. If you really go to an anatomy lab in medical school and dissect a body, you're going to be really scared. What can really exist in this body? Yeah? And this body is nothing but a small trailer or a demo of that huge big multiverse body. If you know this body, you can know the entire multiverse. It's not different. Yeah? I'm not just talking in terms of the organisms, but in the way this body works. If you understand the different levels in which you exist, the mind body, the intuitive body, the blissful body. Now when you understand all these different levels at which you exist, you will understand the entire universe. Yeah? And that relationship has been very beautifully described in the Vedas. Yeah? Someday we will learn to sit and correlate between the microcosm and macrocosm. Coming back to this, he says that nothing, not even these immobile creatures, are devoid of a seed of potentiality, of vasana, which can move them on to the other births. Clear? Now, who will read the last paragraph? You have a question?
No, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, when in the last sentence of the second paragraph, right, he's saying that it is this Chitta Shakti that determines the nature of each object. So this deific energy is also present inside our bodies, right? Like we are talking about Purusha, it's a Pur, right?
Yeah.
So, when you say the potentiality exists even when you are in the body, so this Chitta Shakti it's a latent vasana, is how he is telling us, right?
Latent in an immobile, non-living object. Not in us.
Not in us.
In us, how is it latent? In us, all the conditionings are up, all ragas, dveshas are up, we keep reacting to them. All that drama keeps... Huh?
Even after you become, when you said, right, even after Jivan Mukti, even after you become a Jivan Mukta, the potentiality that exists is because of all this, right?
Yes, yes. Because of that conditioning, I may have wiped out all the conditioning, but that seed, the possibility is still there. That is why you have to keep being very vigilant and keep being aware, moment to moment to moment to moment. Even one moment you cannot slip away, because that seed is still there, even if I am a Jivan Mukta. Got it? Clear, everybody?
like if when the human dies, only body is remaining. So that body is similar to a rock or thing, so it still has the Purusha inside that?
So the Purusha is you. When you leave the body, it's nothing. It's worse than a non-living object. That is why it decomposes. Yeah? So you are the Purusha that leaves the body at death.
So that means that in the dead body, it is not equivalent to the stone or the whiteboard.
It is worse than the stone and the whiteboard. It has gone to a level where, so because you're a Purusha is a city, every cell is called a Purusha really, if you go deeper into the Vedas. So all this is just earth element, yeah, skin, bones, yeah, all the blood in the body and fluids in the body is water element, yeah, so all the skin, bones and whatever belongs to the earth goes into the earth element. So that Purusha has moved on to the earth. Energy cannot be destroyed, it just gets transformed. Yeah? So it moves on to the earth. That is why we either burn it or bury it. Yeah? Whatever the rituals are. So it moves on that way. Yeah? But you, the Purusha, has left the body. That is why that body starts decomposing. But it's still not equivalent to an object like a stone or a rock. Got it? It doesn't have the Purusha.
So this stone also goes through the cycle of birth and death?
Yes. That's exactly what he's implying, no? It has that seed to move on further.
So how we can imagine the death of the stone?
I just told you, no? The stone doesn't like die. It can exist for thousands of years. One stone's lifetime must be what, I don't know, 1,000,000 years, and it just lives for that long. It gets disintegrated or breaks away, yeah, becomes sand, pebbles, and then even gets washed away. Yeah? It's such a difficult birth to even imagine, no? Being in that state for, whatever, 80,000, 90,000 years, 100,000 years. So, such a miserable life. Yeah? But you don't have this kind of a human mind to call it sukha or dukkha. You've not reached that stage. Yeah? It's a very crude kind of not developed mind. It's like a no mind, but not the no mind of a yogi, the no mind of a stone.
So, if this principle applies to rocks, the similar principle applies to fruits and vegetables, I mean the food that we eat, right?
Yeah.
So, I know when we use the shelf life, we're actually talking about the life cycle of, let's say, an apple. So, there is a distinct point in time where all the Purusha from the apple goes away. That's what we call prana. And if you want to relate it to Bhagavad Gita, you said Shakti that is there inside for each of those nutrients needs to be going inside our body to replenish us. So how do we calculate the loss of prana rates? Like at what point?
So Ayurveda has these calculations as well. They have calculations, yes. You have to study Ayurveda, it's beautiful. Now, Ayurveda is not a creation by somebody. Ayurveda was thousands of rishis sat down and meditated, and in the meditation downloaded this entire Ayurvedic science. Yes? And they told one rishi that you don't meditate, you just sit and write down all the shlokas that we tell you. And all the rishis were chanting the same shlokas together. and that other rishi was just writing them down. That's how Ayurveda was cognized. And Ayurveda very clearly speaks about the life of every vegetable, and also speaks about how after cooking only for 4 hours is there prana shakti in your food. If you go beyond 4 hours, the food is dead.
Actually, the white rice is 40 minutes.
White rice is?
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Eat it within 40 minutes.
So everything, the span of every cooked food, different things has been already been given by Ayurveda. It's very interesting if you study Ayurveda. In my medical school, I used to leave everything else and study the Ayurvedic books because they were so easily accessible in the library. Our modern science doesn't believe in all these things. As long as food goes in, we are good.
So it's just about that we are eating after 4 hours.
Yeah, that is why I tell you, cook twice a day. I know it's very tough, but cook twice a day. And even the pressure cooker that we use, especially Indians use, kills your food. What are you doing? High heat, no? High heat and high pressure inside the cooker. It kills all the nutrients. Yeah, that is why the slow cooker, which is the American technology, which takes those 8 hours of cooking, that is the better way to cook. Yeah. If you know the ancient people, they used to cook on running water in a river or stream. They used to tie their potli of rice, and just with the kinetic energy of the water, it would take a lot of time, of course, 2 days, 3 days, but the food would get cooked by the heat. That's how the cavemen lived, because they had not still discovered fire. Slow cooking. That slow cooking doesn't kill the prana as fast as your fast cooking, your pressure cooker does. It's amazing, it's really amazing this time. So, let's go to the last paragraph. Who's reading?
If this is not realized as Atma Shakti, the energy of the self or infinite consciousness, creates the illusion of world appearance. If it is realized as the truth, which is infinite consciousness, that realization destroys all sorrow. The not-seeing of this truth is known as avidya or ignorance. Such ignorance is the cause of the world appearance, which is the source of all the other phenomena. Even as the world appearance, which is the source of all, even as the arising of the first thought disturbs sleep and ends it, the slightest awakening of the inner intelligence destroys ignorance. When one approaches darkness with light in hand, wishing to behold it, the darkness vanishes. When the light of inquiry is turned on ignorance, ignorance disappears. When one begins to inquire, what is I in this body composed of blood, flesh, bone, etc., at once ignorance ceases to be. That which has a beginning has an end. When all things that have a beginning are ruled out, what remains is the truth, which is the cessation of avidya or ignorance. You may regard it as something or as no thing. That is to be sought, which is when ignorance has been disturbed. The sweetness one tastes is not experienced by another. Listening to someone's description of the cessation of avidya does not give rise to your enlightenment. Each one has to realize it. In short, avidya is the belief that there exists a reality which is not Brahman or cosmic consciousness. When there is the certain knowledge that this is indeed Brahman, avidya ceases.
So how can you get there? Only by self-effort. Yes? And what is the effort in? It is only in the self-inquiry. Till the time I am lost outside in this external world of people, situations and things, I don't turn inward really. Yeah? Guruji says, no, you have to really get tired of this external world. That's when you really move inwards. Yeah? So guys, if you're really not tired yet, bas ho gaya, get tired. Really, really, really long now. Yeah? How much more same things you will do. Haven't you realized? Same job, same children, same drama with wife or husband, same drama with girlfriend, boyfriend, same things. Same feverishness for money, for cars, for women, for men, same things. There's no pleasure there. Till the time you are lost in these external things, it is avidya, it is ignorance. It is because of I. Yeah? Because of recognition of this physical body as I. Yeah? When you see, oh, there is really no pleasure in these things, then you start looking within. And when you start looking within, then you realize, oh, I'm not this body. There is somebody else inside that says I. And that I is different from this body. And then your real journey begins. Yeah? That is the Atma Shakti, going within. If this is not realized as Atma Shakti, the energy of the self or infinite consciousness, it creates a delusion of world appearance. And if it is realized as the truth, which is infinite consciousness, that realization destroys all sorrow. The non-seeing of this truth is known as avidya or ignorance. Such ignorance is the cause of the world appearance, which is the source of all the other phenomena. Yeah? This is the only source of dukkha really, because I give so much importance to external people, situations, things. Yeah? I'm not saying drop them and run away. That also doesn't work. Doesn't work at all because it is here. Yeah? A natural maturity should happen to you. And that natural maturity happens in the company of enlightened people, happens in the company of a guru, happens with scriptures like this. So if it's not happening, maybe some self-effort is lacking. Yeah? A little more knowledge, a little more diving into the scriptures is required. Yeah? Why wait for Ekta to explain something? Let me go in and look at this particular shloka and let me go in and try and understand it. Doesn't matter, I'll fail, I'll stumble, I'll fumble. It's okay. At least I will take that first step. Do that, guys. Really, I teach you all the scriptures with that thing that one day at least you will start getting interested and start walking on your own. Yeah, I can't hold the bike for very long. Someday I have to let go of that bicycle and you have to balance on your own. High time. Yes. You need to learn to start cycling on your own now. Yes. That will begin your journey. That is the self-effort that is required. Yeah. Even as the arising of the first thought disturbs sleep and ends it, the slightest awakening of inner intelligence destroys ignorance. When one approaches darkness with light in hand, wishing to behold it, the darkness vanishes. When the light of inquiry is turned on ignorance, ignorance disappears. Yeah? Getting lost in this world of people, situations and things is ignorance. Moving away from these three and going back in on my own is that light. Got it? I don't have to push darkness away. I don't have to make an effort to push darkness away. I can never push it away. All I have to do is light a lamp. Correct? Like that only. You cannot push people, situations and things away. They will never go away by doing that. You have to light that lamp within. That direction that you are going out towards is wrong. You have to turn back and move into the Chidakasha. That is the meaning of lighting the lamp. Got it? When one begins to inquire, what is I in this body composed of blood, flesh, bone, etc., at once ignorance ceases to be. That which has a beginning has an end. Means this body had a beginning and it will end. When all things that have a beginning are ruled out, what remains is the truth. Means this body had a beginning, so that means it's out, it's not the truth. Yeah, the mind had a beginning, okay, I'm not the mind, that also will end. Intellect had a beginning, yes, in that stone there is no intellect. That means somewhere coming up the ladder of evolution, somewhere intellect began. That means somewhere it's going to end. Same with memory. I don't even remember previous lifetimes. So definitely memory has a beginning and end. Yeah. Same with your ego. I. Where does I go in sleep? Can I say this is Ekta's sleep? All I vanishes. So I vanishes every night and comes up every morning. Have you noticed? It is the shortest lived of all of them. Yeah? So it has a beginning and an end. Breath has a beginning and an end. Oh, then what am I? I am beyond all of these. That which has no beginning and no end. That light within that says the I. Yeah? The silent one within. The silent ocean in which all these mind, intellect, memory, ego and all these fishes swim. Yes? That silence is who I am. That silent space in which all this exists is who I am. Yeah? When all things that have a beginning are ruled out, what remains is the truth, which is the cessation of avidya or ignorance. You may regard it as something or as nothing. That is to be sought, which is when ignorance has been dispelled. Yeah, you can call it Akasha, Chiddakasha, but these are only words. It is actually that nothingness within. Yeah? So it's okay if you call it something or you call it nothing. It is just that silence within basically. The sweetness one tastes is not experienced by another. Yeah? Listening to someone's description of the cessation of avidya does not give rise to your enlightenment. Very clearly. Yes? So if you think by Ekta reading this Yoga Vasistha, you are going to get enlightened, alert bell should ring. No. You have to make that effort. Got it? Just because I am tasting something and I am explaining the taste does not mean you will get the taste. Understood? He is very clear about it. Each one has to realize it. This should have been in capitals really. Highlight it. It's the most important line on this page.